Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have a figure that I personally am extremely excited about because we've got a Carnotaurus, and of course, my favorite dinosaur in the world is Carnotaurus. If you haven't figured that out yet, then I guess you don't really watch the channel too much, or maybe you're new to the channel, but regardless, I'm here to let you know that my favorite dinosaur in the world is Carnotaurus, so Nanmu has gone ahead and re-released Carnotaurus. They have already released a Carnotaurus in the past, but we have a totally new version, and in fact, we actually have two totally new versions as far as both sculpt and paint, and we can obviously tell we have very Jurassic World-ish versions. This one here is the more kind of like Fallen Kingdom type version, and then up here is the more Dominion type version, as we've got the Demon Carnotaurus as well as the, I guess, standard. I don't know if it's ever been established if maybe the brown is the female and the Demon Carno is the male, or if that really doesn't make a difference. I'm not too sure. I always kind of assumed that the brown one is more of a female, though, but who really knows, because Carnotaurus Toro is the brownish coloration and is, again, I guess a male, so I don't know. I'm not really too sure, but regardless, we do have both color schemes here, and not only do we have both color schemes, but we actually have all four different versions because they kind of flip-flop them. So you can see that we have this version, which is obviously one with a closed mouth kind of walking, and we also have the version up there, which is an open mouth version, and it actually has a chipped horn, which you can see right there, and they also, again, kind of flip-flop the paint jobs onto others, which basically each figure comes with, again, a really beautiful box you can see here, and each one actually has the exact figure on it that you are going to be getting. So if you go ahead and buy the open mouth version of the brownish version, it has an image of the brown version with the open mouth. So to kind of show you what I'm talking about, here is the box for the other brown version. So you can clearly see that they now have the actual brown version rather than showing that version. So no matter what version you get, again, you get that really nice box art, and you can see we have a beautiful image of the Carnotaurus in front of a sunset. Very, very nice image from Nanmu. And then here on the back, it would basically give you kind of like a sneak peek of the figure, as well as we can see, again, a shot of the exact figure contained within, paint scheme and all applied to that specific version. So very cool of Nanmu to go ahead and give each one, again, a different box compared to the other one. So very, very cool. But regardless, again, we've got a lot to get through when it comes to four different Carnotaurus figures, so let's pop all of them out of the boxes right now and check them out. So straight away, we as always have the art card, and you can see a really nice image of the Carnotaurus letting out some sort of a vocalization over a valley, it looks like, and that looks really cool. They always give us gorgeous artwork here, and every card has that same artwork on it, I believe. I'll have to pull them up here in a moment and look, but I always love the back of the cards as well, giving us that kind of hand-drawn artwork. Boy, does that ever look super, super cool. Love that side of the card. And as it turns out, I'm lucky I looked, because I would have been incorrect, because we do have the Demon Carnotaurus on the Demon Carnotaurus card, and then again the Brown Carnotaurus for the Brown Carnotaurus release. So they do actually color coordinate the Carnotaurus on these awesome art cards. So as you can now see before us here, we have not one Carnotaurus, we have not two Carnotaurus, not three Carnotaurus, we have four Carnotaurus. What a great day today is, because I get to add four new Carnotaurus figures to my collection. So first of all, you can see the two on the left are the open mouth versions, and again we have the Demon version and Brown version. Then here on the right we have the two closed mouth versions, which again are the Demon and Brown version. And I will say, looking at them here, it almost looks like there might be some very, very slight differences between the coloration of the closed mouth brown version and the open mouth brown version, but that might just be the light here kind of playing tricks on me. Regardless, again, with so much to get through, we're going to jump straight to a closer look at all of these right now. So to review the figures, I figured as far as the kind of chipped horn version, we should obviously go with the Demon Carnotaurus coloration, because that's the version that would have the chipped horn. Straight away, looking at that head sculpt is really, really nice as far as the detailing, and I love that we have like scars and stuff here running across the face. That looks really nice, and the coloration, in my opinion, definitely looks spot on to the way it looks in Jurassic World Dominion, as well as the end of Fallen Kingdom, as we did see again a Demon Carnotaurus there. But you can see again that the coloration is really nice with that black running around the majority of the face, and we have those nice reddish tones there. And the reddish tones also have some nice black's kind of like trailing through them in certain parts. It all looks really, really nice, really natural as a whole. We have some really nice scale detail here running along the lower jaw. You can see that the scale detail is all really nicely dry brushed out with kind of like a lighter gray, making that scale detail pop beautifully. You've got some like osteoderms and stuff poking up there. Again, the mouth is in an open position. You can see everything looks really nice as far as a detailing standpoint. The skin stretching and everything. Again, as far as that mouth being open so wide looks really good. You can also see like some variation of color as we have some darker tones, but kind of like some like lighter purples and stuff in there as well, just giving again insane amounts of realism to the paintwork of that area. It also sports a nice gloss coat. You can see some really nice texturing to the tongue and everything. The tongue as well is painted in a really nice realistic fashion, again with some dark tones and even some lighter tones kind of dry brushed over. My camera's losing focus here. You can also see the inside of the mouth. Wow, look at that. That is phenomenal. That is absolutely breathtaking detail there on the inside of the mouth. And again, that paintwork is incredibly realistic, but the gloss coat just kind of tops everything off very nicely. You can see the teeth are all kind of like that really nice material they use, kind of like a yellowish tone, but it looks super realistic. The teeth and the insides of the mouths of Nanmu figures are honestly untouchable. They are just super, super realistic. And you can see as we move up here again to the face, you've got a really nicely painted eye with a green. You actually have a darker green and then a lighter green and a black pupil. The eye also sports a nice gloss coat. Again, you can see another one of those scars running through the face there of our Carnotaurus. The horn as well, again, is like broken off up here. They've done a very good job of sculpting that out, as well as painting it to highlight the broken horn, as you have kind of like some light grays there. You've got some nice kind of osteoderms and stuff running down the course of the Carnotaurus series. You can start to see the red picking up. You even have like a little splotch of like yellow, and I see that every once in a while. You can see that here kind of running along the side over here. So very nice random coloration that they've applied just to give it a little extra color. But as you move down here into the neck, you can kind of see some creasing and stuff there in the turn of the neck of the Carnotaurus. Also like some tensing, some of the osteoderms and stuff, again, running down the course of the Carno. You can also see those reds kind of striping down and designing down as you move through. Incredible looking skin texture and scale detail. You've also got some really nice skin detail here in the throat region, kind of like some hanging skin and stuff. As I smack the camera with the foot there, you can see again that it all looks really good as you move along here. Lots of kind of skin wrinkles, skin creases. You can make out the shoulder blade right there. Also the rib cage running along the stomach region. And look at how really, really beautiful that scale detail looks. That is phenomenal. You also have osteoderms and stuff poking up here and there, as well as those lines of osteoderms and ridges running along the course of our Carnotaurus. Again, you can see striping as you lead down, kind of like some grayish striping, black and reds as you move through, so you have quite a bit of color variation to the Carnotaurus. The arm is held into the body in a nice naturalistic position. Same goes with the other arm over there. And what's interesting is you can see the arms are actually a little bit movable, which is something I don't ever recall on Nanmu models before. That was very interesting to see that. But really nice transition to a little bit of a grayish type of color here leading out into the hands of the Carnotaurus. I don't recall if the Carno from Jurassic World actually had fingernails or not. It shouldn't have quite so many as far as like an accurate Carnotaurus, but who really knows? Again, I don't remember that much into the film. If it did or not, I'll have to pay attention to that next time I view it. But you can see as far as the underside goes, again, insane detailing down here. The skin texture is phenomenal. And you also have, again, kind of like some yellowish browns and also some light gray dry brushing to really highlight the detail, as well as giving it some nice color variation, looking really realistic. Moving up here, you can see some wrinkling and creasing up here at the top of the thigh. Nice muscle definition. You also have some light grays kind of squiggling and designing through the thigh as you move down. You've got a kneecap present, absolutely massive calf muscle right there, and you can continue to see how beautiful that scale detail looks. Like the sculpting and detailing of Nanmu is off the charts. And then as you move down, you've got a gorgeous foot sculpt for the Carnotaurus, actually some creasing right there in the skin as well, but you've got some scoots running down the toes. Very nicely painted nails. I like how the nails start with a black but transition to kind of like a lighter variation of a brown, and there's actually some nice detailing within the nails. I like that the toes are kind of just starting to touch as the Carnotaurus is like putting its foot down as it's taking a step and walking by. And you can also see a dew claw here on the opposing foot, and those toes are just leaving the ground, so clearly it shows that our Carnotaurus is in mid-stride. But you can also see some more skin wrinkling and stuff back here behind the thigh, again showing off the movement of the thigh pulling forward as we lead out the length of the tail. And again, incredibly smooth transitions as you move down. You continue to have that red designing as you lead out the length of the tail, and you have an absolutely gorgeous looking curve to the tail as you lead out. Really quite elegant looking curve, and you can again see more of those like random areas of like yellowish tones showing up, which is very interesting. And then looking at the opposing side, you can now see that the head is kind of facing away from us here as opposed to facing toward us, so you can kind of see like the skin stretching and tensing even more so, I think, over here. Again, beautiful detail here in the throat region. As you lead back, you can again see the shoulder blade. The arm is in a slightly different position compared to what we see on the opposing side, held a little bit further back into the body. We can see more of the stomach region over here because the leg is trailing here, stretching the skin, and the skin stretching off of that right there just looks so legit. It looks so realistic, and that scale detail as well. And you can again see more of the detailing throughout the course of the stomach. Leading up here, you can kind of see the skin again reacting to the movement of the leg. Lots of creasing and wrinkling up here on the top. Nice muscle definition. Again, moving down the course of the thigh and calf. You can see the kneecap there. And again, the foot sculpt as it is lifting up off of the ground. The toes are just leaving. The nails also sport a nice gloss coat, which is always a plus for any figure. And then as you lead back here, you again have some more kind of wrinkling and creasing, more of that kind of mixture of like a light brown and that grayish dry brushing as you move out. You've got more of that brown right here, and then again more of the reds leading out through the course of that really beautiful tail. And the entire underside as well just has ridiculously nice detailing throughout. Absolutely fantastic sculpt and detail throughout that entire Carnotaurus. Now, of course, you have that demon type version, and you also have the brownish version. Now, the brownish version we're only going to run through really quickly because we'll go over the sculpt and everything and paint job on the brownish version of the alternate sculpt. But you can see again, it looks pretty much just as the other one did as far as that, demon Carnotaurus goes, but rather than the demon Carno, we've got the nice browns and stuff throughout. You have all of that. In my opinion, it looks more like a female type of a coloration for the Carnotaurus. And again, it's the same sculpt, same pose, same base, which we didn't even look at yet, except it's now in the brownish coloration. And this is just so beautiful. Like, that is a million times better than the recent Prime 1 version that I had reviewed, because the Prime 1's paint job was just awful compared to what I see on this Nanmu version. The Nanmu version far exceeds anything and everything that Prime 1 has produced as far as their 1/38 scale line. But I just wanted to kind of give you a run over of the entire figure again from the brownish version here as far as that one goes. And again, we've also got kind of like a floor-like base for our Carnotaurus as far as the broken horn version. No matter which one you get, it comes with the same style base. Really nice, very highly detailed sculpt. It honestly looks like they just took a chunk of the floor and pulled it out here for the Carnotaurus, and also added again some nice weathering and really nice coloration to it. And you've also got the peg there to put your Carnotaurus on, and then Ranger 2.0 here on the underside. And then as far as the brownish version goes and the alternate pose, you can see that now the mouth is closed more so than open. It's open a little bit. We've got a little bit of an opening going on, just enough to show us the teeth and a little bit of the detailing there on the inside of the mouth, which looks really cool. But again, much more closed than what we had seen on the other one. We also have the Carnotaurus with its head turned to its left a little bit. Seems like maybe a little bit sharper of a turn compared to what we saw on the broken horn version. But paintwork-wise, again, we have the nice blacks running down here. We've also got some nice variations of browns and everything. You've got really nicely painted eyes yet again with gorgeous gloss coat on that. Also a nice gloss coat on the teeth. I like that there's really nice kind of like a light off-white running down here, highlighting the scale detail and everything on the lower jaw. But you also have some of the blacks showing up as well as some kind of like orangish browns right there. And it looks really good. We have both of the horns sculpted out and everything on this one. You can see there's a bit of a gloss coat to the top of the head of this actually, and the horns of course, but very interesting to see that gloss coat. I didn't even notice that before. But again, as we move down, the detailing looks pretty similar. The pose is honestly pretty similar, but not exactly the same. You can see the arms are similar as far as like the fact that the left arm is a little bit further forward, the right arm is a little bit further back, but I feel like they might be slightly different as far as the positioning goes compared to the other one. But look at that paintwork. Man, they really did do a phenomenal job, of course, on the sculpt, but also on the paintwork. You can yet again see how the left leg is taking a step forward, so you can see the skin kind of pushing up and really highlighting that rib cage. We've got more of the really nice paintwork, again, with the variations of browns. I can even see like some hints of like reds and stuff, like reddish browns creeping through some of the creases in the skin, which is really neat to see. Less scarring and everything. We don't really see scars on this one, or at least not that I'm picking up on yet. And one of the worst aspects of the Prime 1 version was the striping and everything of the blacks through the course of the body. And it looks so much better on this one. It looks so bad and so fake on the Prime 1 version. It just really looked like they gave a kid a marker and told him, here, give this a pattern, and they basically just squiggled some lines on it, whereas this, again, looks like legit body color. It looks like the coloration of the animal, the skin color, and it just looks so smooth and so screen accurate as well as far as the coloration goes. And you can see that as you move down the course of the thigh. Again, that is about as smooth of a paint application as it gets. Same deal with the transitions. Again, you can see a little bit of a striping running down the course of the shin, but as we move, again, transition back to the calf, that is about as realistic and natural of a transition as it gets. You've got some nice variations of browns, again, for the toes. I feel like maybe the figures as a whole, like if we bring this one up carefully and we look at them, you can see like the feet are pretty similar as far as the positioning goes, whereas the left leg is kind of about to land, the right leg is picking up off the ground. And again, detail-wise, it looks like there's definitely either a strong similarity. It looks like we have some of the same parts used, but we just have some slight differences as far as like the mouth being open and then the mouth being closed on the alternate Carnotaurus. And then, of course, the missing horn there is definitely a difference. And again, the arm, I feel like on the brownish version is back a little bit further as far as the right arm than what we see on the Demon Carno over there. But outside of that, I feel like everything else looks fairly similar as far as the sculpt goes, honestly. Really, really nice paintwork. Again, as we lead out, we have some more of those beautiful browns, really nice lighter tones for the underside. And there's also even a striping here running along the underside of the tail, which is very cool to see. And again, more of those black stripes running along the top of the Carnotaurus. And I love how all of the kind of ridges and everything running along the back, as well as the ridges running down along the side, they're all like varying sizes. They don't look generic. They all look very lifelike and realistic. And if we turn the Carno around very carefully, we take a look at the head sculpt and everything here on the opposing side. Whew, that is just beautiful. That is honestly breathtaking right there. And again, same deal as far as the rest of the figure goes. It looks incredible. Wow, that paintwork is just beautiful. Like, I love the way they've highlighted those scales in the lower part of the stomach region. Really shows off how impressive of a sculpt we have for this Carnotaurus. And again, paint-wise, it all looks pretty much the same over here as it did on the initial side. Same deal for the sculpt, but that is an incredible Carnotaurus, no doubt about that. And then again, we have the same kind of demon Carnotaurus color for this sculpt, so it's basically the exact same coloration as what we had just seen on the other one. I think maybe the grays are actually a little bit more obvious up here compared to the first version. Like, these grays that stripe through just look a little bit brighter to me than the other one. But considering each and every figure is hand painted, it's not surprising that we would see some slight differences between the figures. But again, you can see exact same sculpt. Everything is exactly the same as the one we had just taken a look at, except now we have the Demon Carnotaurus coloration on it rather than that brownish version. So what I like about this is the fact that Nanmu has given us so many different variants of this Carnotaurus allows you to have pretty much an entire kind of a pack or a family of Carnotaurus, and they don't all look exactly the same. Like, you have the scarred up kind of broken horn version as far as the Demon Carno goes, but you also have a less scarred up version like this as far as a Demon Carnotaurus goes, and same deal for the brown versions. Again, you can see as we move through, they have absolutely, in the words of John Hammond, spared no expense when it comes to this Carnotaurus. just like every other one that we've had here. And Nanmu never spares any expense. They always give us the absolute best models possible. But you can see as far as the base goes for the more closed mouth version, rather than that kind of floor, we actually have an earthy area with some nice variations of browns as well as some vegetation and stuff. You can see kind of like a muddy type area as we have the footprints of the Carnotaurus there in the mud. It looks very nice. Again, expertly painted here as far as the different variations of colors and washes and everything they've applied. As far as a length goes for the closed mouth version, I would imagine they're probably going to be right around the same size, but you're looking at a little bit over 13.25 inches, closing in on 13.5 or around 34 centimeters. And then for a height to the top of the neck here, almost about 5.25 inches or a little over 13 centimeters. And for the demon kind of broken horn version that we have here, lengthwise, you are looking at about, it's actually a little bit longer, so about 13.5 inches, almost on the dot, or around 34.5 centimeters, so it is slightly longer. And then for a height, it's almost 5.5 inches, or just under 14 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our sea of Carnotaurus here, even though you can really only see one because the rest are kind of obscured. But you can definitely see that, again, they do sport a pretty good, pretty impressive size, and they are quite a bit larger than Nanmu's older Carnotaurus that they had released quite a ways back. And to show you that, there is the older Carnotaurus from Nanmu, and wow, like, that is a huge size difference. Honestly, I was thinking that the newer version would be a similar size to the older one, but obviously I was really quite wrong. The newer one is way larger, and honestly, looking at these figures here together, it's actually quite crazy how much Nanmu has improved over time. Like, when I think back to the Carnotaurus releases from Nanmu, I remember just being so over the moon excited about it and just absolutely loving the figure. But looking at it here now in comparison to the newer one, man, such a major difference in quality. Not even just with the sculpt, you can also see the paint job is miles better on the newer ones, and also even like the covering up of the seams. Like, the seam on the knee of the older one was so obvious compared to what we see on the newer ones. It's way, way better. So it's really crazy. Again, you never realize just how much Nanmu has improved because every release they have is always so impressive, but I really feel like this is a very good visual to show you again just how much they've improved over time. And then for another comparison here, we've got ourselves the PNSO Carnotaurus, which you can also see is quite drastically smaller than our Nanmu version. Again, showing you that the Nanmu version definitely is quite large. But for another comparison, here is quite possibly the most popular Nanmu figure of all time, as we have the Queen Rexy here next to our Carnotaurus. And again, I thought this would be a good one to bring in for a comparison because so many people have the Rex from Nanmu, and you can really see yet again that these Carnotaurus are quite large in comparison. Like, if we bring Rexy in here and we put the Carnotaurus directly in front of it there, you can definitely see, again, size-wise, they are very impressive. These Carnotaurus figures are absolutely no slouch in the size department. And then for one final random comparison, we've got a few different randoms here again with the Safari LTD Tyrannus, the Schleich Diabloceratops, and the Collect Date Deluxe Dimetrodon next to our Nanmu Carnotaurus figures here, just to kind of iron out the fact that they are quite sizable, and also just to throw in a couple random figures that hopefully you might have one of at the very least, again to show you a size. So this brand new Nanmu Ranger 2.0 Carnotaurus figure, all four versions are phenomenal, and yet again Nanmu takes another release and just completely blows our expectations out of the water, because in hand these are gorgeous. I would definitely say some of Nanmu's best work, and of course I'm a little biased because I love Carnotaurus, so I am probably a little more excited than your average dinosaur collector for these because it is my favorite dinosaur of all time, hence the reason I have four versions of it here. But again, sculpt-wise, these are gorgeous. They really have done a great job of bringing that kind of Jurassic World-style Carnotaurus to life in picture-perfect form as far as both the sculpt and paint job. I feel like they absolutely nailed it as far as that kind of demon Carnotaurus type of a look, as well as the more, again, Fallen Kingdom Carnotaurus, the type of Carnotaurus we were introduced to in the Jurassic World films. And again, both of them look incredible as far as both sculpt and paint. I like the fact that they look similar as far as the pose, but a little bit different, because that makes them really good kind of companion pieces to each other. You can kind of display both of them, even though they don't have the same type of a base. And but you could actually, again, if you go the route that I did, buy all four and switch the bases out for each figure, because you absolutely could mix and match the bases to have each of the two Carnotaurus standing on a similar style base. But again, the fact that they're kind of positioned in the same way looks like two Carnotaurus just kind of walking along and stopping for a moment, or even, you know, maybe pursuing something, because they do kind of appear to be walking, because they both have like their heads turned in the same direction. It just makes a really neat diorama. And again, detail-wise, the scale detail, everything, the skin texture, the skin wrinkles, everything is phenomenal on these Carnotaurus. Super, super highly detailed, as always, when it comes to Nanmu. They really give you a lot of bang for your buck when it comes to the detailing department in your figure. But also, again, the paintwork, they've really nicely replicated that kind of demon Carnotaurus paint job for the Demon Carnotaurus version, and also really nicely replicated that kind of brownish Carnotaurus version for the brownish version. And yet again, the paintwork is super smooth as far as the application goes, really natural looking. Nothing on any of these figures looks like paint on a figure at all. 1000% looks like body color, which is just a breath of fresh air when it comes to a Jurassic World style Carnotaurus. They really did, again, give us, I would say, the definitive version of a Jurassic World Carnotaurus here, as they always do, because Nanmu continues to impress and impress in a big way. So if you are interested in picking these up, I will include links in the description to where you can purchase these on Lana Time Shop, because that's where I purchased mine from. They delivered mine like really fast. I was blown away by how quick these got here. So definitely the site to go to now for me when it comes to ordering Nanmu, and I would definitely suggest you guys do the same. And again, grab your Nanmu models from Lana Time Shop, as they have exceptional customer service, and again got these to me really quickly. So make sure you check those links, go grab yourself some Carnotaurus, and also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.